first just want to start by welcoming everyone to our beautiful Mercury retrograde, summer solstice, new moon in Cancer Tele ceremony. And just begin by asking us all to take a beautiful breath and just breathe ourselves here and just allow yourself to be fully here right now. So I'm going to take a deep breath and you can take one with me. We can exhale all that is not this moment and just allow ourselves to have this beautiful time together to prepare for this weekend and actually for a series of astrological events beginning tomorrow that will carry us through the entire summer. So before I begin, let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Demitra Vassiliadis. I'm a spiritual astrologer. My company is Heaven to Earth Astrology at heaventoearthastrology.com. I encourage you to go to my website and check out my daily column because the events that I'm speaking of tonight are already up and will be every day. I write a column, so every day as these events advance over the weekend and beginning tomorrow, I will be writing about them and specific to each sign so you can, track what's going on and get some beautiful spiritual nutrition. Also, we are broadcasting tonight from the beautiful Instituto Xilonen on West 26th Street in Manhattan. You will be able to go to Instagram by the weekend and look at some of the footage of this event. I'm sitting here next to this incredibly beautiful crystal named Luna, this beautiful huge orb named for the moon, sacred to the universal lunar divine feminine, which is our astrological rock star for the night. And this is literally a beautiful rock star that I'm sitting next to for grounding nutritional energy. So I also encourage you to go to Instituto Xilonen on Instagram and check out their beautiful website. And I will be putting links to that in my column in the days to come so you can see some of this footage. So now that I've introduced who I am, where I am, I thought it would be nice to explain a little bit about my approach to astrology. And for me, astrology is a spiritual navigational tool. Astrology posits that there's a beautiful correspondence between the heavens and earth, and that whatever's happening in our beautiful solar system has an impact here on this gorgeous planet, this heavenly planet. We already reside in the heavens, and Heaven to Earth Astrology is committed to the idea of making this earth a more heavenly, beautiful place, which requires essentially just spiritual awakening. That's really the only thing required to make this a more heavenly realm, is for each of us to remember our sacredness and remember the sacredness of this earth and of every living thing and our brothers and sisters across, all lines that we could imagine. So one of the beautiful things astrology also invites us to reconnect with is the idea of sacredness and consciousness. For astrology to really make sense, and if you study sort of ancient Greek culture, astrology was the foundation of all other healing forms, whether it was herbalism or medicine, philosophy. Astrology was the basic foundation of all subsequent sciences. And then astrology and astronomy, science and spirituality got divorced somewhere along the way. And now they're dating again. There's some tentative hand-holding in the quantum physics realm where even the quantum physics people are telling us that the universe does appear to be composed of thought. So for astrology to work, there has to be a fundamental level of soul or consciousness in every manifested aspect of the universe. And what we astrologers look at is the solar system and the stars. Of course, the fixed stars is a whole realm of study. But what we look at are these beautiful systems, these giant rocks, if you will. Here I am surrounded by this beautiful crystal to my right. I'm actually keeping my hand on beautiful Luna, this huge orb. And You know, astrology says that these vast planets are living beings that do exert some influence. You know, certainly this planet does. My favorite planet of all of them is Mother Earth, but I also really love the moon, I love the luminaries, I love the entire solar system. So what will we be exploring tonight about this beautiful, ensouled, cosmic system that we are living in here in outer space? There will be 3 big events happening, and astrology says that any time a planet does something, there is an influence here. We're being asked to harmonize with the movements of the heavens. These are huge tides, and anyone who's a swimmer knows it is wise to swim with the tide. Good luck swimming against the tide. So astrology is dealing with the tides, the sweeping tides of the heavens, and giving us, you know, beautiful instructions. This heavenly map guides our journey and says, it's time for this now, or it's time for that. So what is it about to be time for? And for those who are regulars on this call, we did things a little differently this time. Usually it's always on the day of the new moon or the day of the solstice. But because we have these 3 events staggered over the next few days, and the new moon falls on Father's Day, and so many people have been in quarantine and really getting connected to their family in a deeper way, we thought it would be a beautiful thing to provide this service ahead of time. You know, you can listen to the recording at your convenience. It won't interfere with your plans to celebrate your fathers and be with your family on Father's Day, which is the day of the actual new moon. So what is about to happen? The first thing that's going to happen, I'll give you the 3 events and then we'll go over each of them. But before we do, to do things in the correct order, I'd like to say a blessing and just ask Divine Spirit to bless everyone on this call, to guide every thought, every word, every deed that we're involved in this little ceremony, to direct my thinking. I'm asking higher consciousness and higher love to speak through me, and asking for everyone involved in this to be blessed, to be protected, to be surrounded with love and divine protection throughout the summer as we head into Cancer, the sign most concerned with protection and protectiveness and feeling safe and secure. So asking for every blessing to each of you, your families, your loved ones. May it be a beautiful summer where you incubate the most beautiful, soulful things that can then come forth in the seasons to come. Amen. So also, if you're alone at home, I'm here in this beautiful institute. We're using these gorgeous legacy crystals to amplify our prayers, our intentions, our blessings. But wherever you are, if you want to light a candle, create sacred space, and really invite yourself to be intentional for the next hour or so. We may go a little over because there's so much to cover tonight of what's happening, and we'll end with a guided meditation. But this is a beautiful moment to reclaim your own sovereign, sacred consciousness. You know, spirituality is a democracy. It's a perfect democracy. No one of us is above another. Each one of us is a living temple that this creative force that flung whole galaxies into being, that force is enshrined within each of us. Each of us has the power to bless. Each of us has the power to heal, to use our consciousness to create so much beauty and harmony. And I invite you to do that as we head into this eclipse, to really reclaim the power of your consciousness to create beauty and protection and kindness and safety and security for your fellow humans, your fellow creatures, and just step up to that gorgeous plate, because that's our birthright. We're all sacred beings here, and we're all equal, and we all fall down sometimes and, you know, get thrown off whatever our teaching or devotional practice is, and our fellows help us get back. So, you know, I'm not here as anyone above anyone else, just someone leading this particular astrological event tonight. And many of you on this call are dear friends of mine who often help me when I need more support. So Tonight we'll be talking also about Saturn in Aquarius, how we all need one another increasingly in the days and weeks to come. So now on to what's about to happen. So these 3 events are about to occur beginning tomorrow. Tomorrow on the 18th, for those who may be listening to this recording at a different time, Thursday the 18th. Today we're here on the 17th doing this recording with the beautiful moon in Taurus getting us grounded. But tomorrow, Mercury, the planet of thought, communication, intelligence, analysis, and consciousness, will station retrograde in Cancer, the sign that the sun is about to enter on the summer solstice. So what does that mean? You know, Mercury will begin this whole movement into Cancer by, well, Mercury is already in Cancer, but will begin changing position, which will be a very auspicious directional change. And that change will then be in the chart of the summer solstice and in the chart of the new moon. Both of those charts will have Mercury retrograde. And Mercury will be joining Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, already traveling retrograde. So the first thing I thought I would mention is, what does it mean when a planet is moving retrograde? It means that whatever energy that planet symbolizes is now turned inward. It's the most spiritual direction because the divine kingdom is within us. The spiritual kingdom is within us. So when consciousness turns inward, we are called to go within. And we're called to be quiet, be still, be contemplative, be meditative, be considerate, and really reflect. And nothing reflects like the moon, nothing. Luna, our beautiful grandmother moon, and Cancer, the sign that is her home sign, there is only one sign of the zodiac that is ruled by the moon, and that is Cancer, the sign that we're about to head into on Saturday. But tomorrow, Mercury, our minds, already in this incredibly reflective sign, will then station still and move toward a backward direction. Now, what's nice about Mercury retrograde in Cancer is that Mercury operates very naturally retrograde in Cancer. Cancer, the direction, each sign of the zodiac has a direction that they like to move in. Aries, for example, moves forward with great daring. Capricorn moves upward. Gemini moves in 5 directions at once. But Cancer puts it in reverse and goes backward. Why? Because Cancer is the historian of the zodiac, the archivist of the zodiac, the keeper of nostalgia, the keeper of anecdotal family history, the keeper of the past. So Cancer presides over everything from 5 minutes ago to millions of years ago. Natural history belongs to Cancer. All history belongs to Cancer. And when Mercury stations retrograde in Cancer, Mercury is more a he. He's calling us home. He's asking our minds to go inward, to reconnect with our home, our roots, our family, our ancestry. And the crab is famous for these massive migrations. If you've ever seen the beautiful National Geographic films of the crabs when they all migrate back to lay their eggs, we're in that very moment now. And through this whole COVID epidemic, so many people migrated home. I have like 4 clients who are literally moving back home now, wherever that was for them. So it's a beautiful time to move home or to reconsider one's relationship to home. And Cancer also rules security, emotional security, physical security, literally our homes. And this is a time to renovate, to redecorate, to reconsider. After being in the home for so long, there are people who are thinking of moving their location. They discovered they didn't like where they're living and they want to live in a different place. And they also discovered the incredible importance of home. So Mercury is going to begin this migration backward tomorrow. And that begins this whole, Mercury gets into position. It's going to happen at 12:59 a.m. tomorrow. My column is already written about that. I'll be posting it tonight, so you can read that tomorrow. And then Mercury will station direct again on July 12th, and then we won't be out of the opposite shadow of Mercury retrograde until the 26th of July. So between now and the 26th of July is a time to really think about and rethink about home, family, ancestry. Also, when we get into the other two events, the solstice and the new moon chart that are coming up on Saturday and Sunday respectively, this is going to be another summer of transformation. And just a quick word about the whole backdrop of everything that's happening. We are in this massive, potent year of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. This is a year astrologers have waited for. It's been written about, it's been talked about, there's been all kinds of conjecture, and kaboom, here we are. And it has proven to be an incredibly revelatory, transformational, disruptive year with one event after another that is literally shaking the foundations of not only this country, but the world. This is a global event. You know, we have three titanic planets now all moving backward for the entire summer. They won't stop moving backward until Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto will not all be direct until October 4th. But by the end of September, the two others have begun moving forward. So this is an entire summer where there is massive transformation afoot. And in the Capricornian realms, we will see governments going through massive changes, currency, the stock market, national borders, corporations, like huge transformation going on. And then we are each called now into this summer of recovery, reflection, reconsideration, healing, and reconnecting to our whole root system. So Mercury gets us started and says, okay, look inward, and it's calling us homeward. You know, it's time to go home. And, you know, we're going to talk a lot about home because this is a summer to really cultivate within the body and within the soul a sense of being truly at home within ourselves. You know, it's time to put the ruby slippers on and click our heels together and say there's no place like home. Because if we feel at home within ourselves, we can feel at home anywhere. And that's the challenge this summer, to heal whatever disruption has kept us on a somatic and soulful level from feeling at peace and secure within ourselves. And then the deeper calling is to create a world where it's safe for every child, for every culture, for every race, across all borders, where we can all create a world where there's just an increment of safety for everyone. So it begins tomorrow, and then we march into the weekend, and on Saturday we have the summer solstice. And what is the summer solstice? The summer solstice is when the portal of the summer opens. And I believe that there is this energetic sort of door that opens and just this beautiful universal mother energy pours in, because Cancer is the sign of the universal mother. It is the most maternal sign of the zodiac, and the men who are born in this sign are, I always think of them as knights, like the silver armor, but dedicated to the divine feminine in a sense. These are men who are truly, there's a knightly quality to them, both in the musculature, but in the intense protectiveness, the family man, the soul man. So this applies both to men and women, but Cancer is very specifically the sign of the universal mother. So on Saturday, at 5:44 p.m. here on the East Coast, the sun will enter the 0 degree of Cancer and summer begins. The solstice is also the longest day and the shortest night of the year. This is a solar holiday when the tide of light reaches its absolute highest ebb. So there will never be more light than there will be on Saturday at 5:44. That is the absolute apex of sunlight. And then from that day forward, we will lose moments of sunlight every single day until we get to the fall equinox, when day and night are balanced again, and then the winter solstice, which is the opposite. That will be the longest night and the shortest day. But for now, we're at this apex of light. And what's interesting, so it's a beautiful day, Saturday. Let me just give you some instructions. You know, tomorrow is a beautiful day to take note of the Mercury retrograde and make it a meditative day. Journaling, prayer, meditation, even house cleaning, but as a devotional sacred path. You know, clean your house as though it is your sacred temple, which it is. You know, on the way walking here, I was thinking of Cancer is so much like mother of pearl, like living in some beautiful oyster shell that's, you know, has the luminescence. And think of your home as that, as a place in which your soul, your family, your creativity, your love can gestate. Because that's really, home is a temple in a sense. It's a very sacred space. And this year in particular, when we've all been so homebound, it becomes even more important to cleanse the space, create sacred space, and ask yourself what will really take care of you in that sacred place that you call home. So tomorrow is a beautiful day for all of that, to just because the planet Mercury going backwards, to really call you and into the home of your spirit. Then on Saturday, it's a beautiful day to invite light into your body, into your mind, into your spirit. This is a day of maximum sunlight. You know, and sunlight, you know, the moon is reflecting the light of the sun. It's a polarized light, but the sun is really, it's our gorgeous radiant day star. There is no life without the sun. There's no vegetation without the sun. And on a spiritual level, there's no enlightenment. You know, the sun is the luminary that brings us that divine light, that when we really see the light, you know, we are having just this revelation of divinity. So on the summer solstice, ask yourself, where is there darkness in your life? And it doesn't have to mean, you know, shadowy darkness, although we are about to go there because of the eclipse we are going to be talking about. And the new moon, the solstice chart is Scorpio rising. Actually, I'm going to talk about the solstice for a few minutes before we move on to the new moon. So the other thing about the solstice is, yes, we invite the full light in. And why is that so important this year? It's important because this year the summer solstice takes place in this eclipse corridor. We just came out of the eclipse in Sagittarius that saw all this social upheaval, which is leading to beautiful things and general consensus, you know, that I feel unprecedented consensus about universal human rights. I feel like humanity is ready to take a beautiful leap in that direction, but it's upheaval nonetheless. There's been a lot of very disturbing, upsetting, and coming out of the COVID and all of this. So we're in this one eclipse that's bringing up the national shadow and the global shadow. We're headed right into another eclipse. And then a third one after that, the new moon that takes place on Sunday will culminate on the 4th, 5th of July, the national birthday for the United States, and more of the national shadow will be revealed. So and then the other reason is that when we look at the summer solstice, astrologers cast a chart for the solstice, and that gives us our marching instructions, what the summer is asking us for us, the whole season. So like the spring chart, this is a Scorpio rising chart again, meaning we are not out of the chrysalis of transformation. We are still in the midst of looking into the shadows, of having to do more transformational work, having to release what doesn't serve us, and having to look at our personal shadows, family shadows, collective, national, and global shadow, which is the stuff that we'd prefer to not look at. But this is another summer of having to deal with all that. I am a Scorpio rising individual in my birth chart, so I mean, I understand, like, the process is not necessarily a pleasant one, but it is an incredibly necessary one. No deep healing that I've ever done in my life has come without me having to look at my shadow, the parts of myself that I'd rather project onto other people. The minute I'm blaming someone for my troubles or difficulties, it's usually they represent part of my shadow that I'd rather not look at. So for all of us, and the shadow isn't just the bad stuff, unpleasant qualities or things that we reject in ourselves. Every single shadow part correctly integrated holds power. If say we're jealous and we integrate our jealousy, that is then becomes correct desire. Jealousy is just where we see something someone else has and think we can't have it. So jealousy is a perfect map to true desire. And if you can sort of jettison the resentment at the other person and just be like, oh, I really do want to write or paint or live in the country, whatever that person may have, then, when we integrate it, we have the power to just more directly admit something we want. Being judgmental, the other side of that is discernment. Being angry, the other side of that is actually fuel for assertion or setting boundaries. It's when we don't integrate the shadow that it can act in weird ways or come out sideways. But if we do our work, we can actually come out of this summer tremendously empowered. And the Scorpio rising chart is about power, taking our power back. Now, when we look at the solstice chart, the sun, the moon, Mercury, and the North Node are all in the sector of Scorpio. So again, it's this echo of having to look, at history, at what's not comfortable in our family history, it's a beautiful summer to connect with ancestry, to honor the ancestors, to do healing work around the ancestors, to help do the healing work to let go of what they might have had to do to survive, because we're coming out of a pretty rough century. The 20th century was, no joke, and a lot of people's ancestors had trauma, had maladaptive survival traits. This is a summer to really look at that and do some healing with deep techniques like EMDR, EFT, to look at pooling resources, mergers, collaborations. It's a fantastic summer for that. But we're being called to go deep. Also in the solstice chart, the Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn planets are straddling the sector of finance and communication. And we're coming out of this hugely disruptive event. I mean, everyone has been shut down and whatnot. So it is a summer to recover financially, to restructure businesses, to look at the financial ruin and figure out how to rebuild, how to rethink, how to revise. I mean, we will be having, a huge amount of retrogradation this summer, asking us to recover financially and also to recover our self-esteem. With all of these themes that have been illuminated since the last eclipse, I was thinking a great deal that, if each of us really did the work to feel worthy and to feel equal, there would not be any equality problems on this planet. People who feel truly equal and truly worthy to their very bones, in their deepest soul, really don't want to deprive anyone of anything. There's no need to be above or below anyone. And, we're heading into this Aquarian age where we're called to really create a world of equals, where we're eye to eye, toe to toe with any other human being. So this is the summer to do some soul searching within ourselves and ask ourselves, where do I feel less than? Where do I feel more than? How can I work to just feel incredibly good about myself and worthy of any good thing that any other human being is worthy of? Because people like that will create heaven on earth very quickly. It's when we don't feel entitled, when we don't feel equal, when we don't feel less than. And I would posit that almost everyone has some of those places. So it's a beautiful summer to do that. Now, in the chart, Mars, the planet of war, actually is traveling with Neptune. We are called to be spiritual warriors this summer. They're both in Pisces. And it's interesting, the North Node, the destiny point of the summer solstice chart, is in Gemini at the 29th degree. So in a weird way, we're being asked to go deep, change our thinking, and make sure that our thinking isn't just intellectual, but is soulful. You know, how can we have an EQ that's as high as our IQ? It's a very kind of intellectual culture. You know, we're on the social media and we're constantly texting and tweeting and God knows what else, but the summer is calling us to develop our emotional intelligence, our emotional brilliance. You know, if we really had that, I think war would become obsolete, because a lot of conflict is simply that we're not emotionally literate about our own needs and feelings and how to express them and those of others. So this is a beautiful summer to go deep within, really become curious about our own feelings and the needs that they point to, do the deep inner healing work to jettison our ancestral wounds, change our thinking so that it's aligned with our soul's true needs, and then be spiritual warriors. And it's funny, Neptune, the planet of spirituality, divine homesickness, kissing Mars, the planet of war. These two planets are traveling together in the sector of home, the sector that Cancer governs. So in a very real sense, our home is our temple this summer. And we're being asked to create sacred space, and from that space to become centers of healing, centers of light, centers of surrender, spiritual surrender, compassion, forgiveness, and to dream up beautiful new visions. You know, if we imagine that we're sort of going into this beautiful mother of pearl shell that we'll call our home to incubate for the summer, we're being asked to incubate beautiful, compassionate unity visions for the world, personal and collective. So ask yourself, what are you going to dream up this summer? It's a great summer for vision mapping. It's a fantastic summer for creating your dream home, whether that's an apartment or a one-room, you know, that you're living in, or a palace or the Taj Mahal. We're being asked to create sacred, beautiful space in which we can dream and create and express ourselves. Our minds, both the right and the left brain, are being asked to connect with Neptune. So it's very clear, our marching orders are very clear. It's a summer of transformation, of having to confront, you know, what might not be pleasant in our shadow, but to bring the divine in. I mean, that is a very clear instruction. It's a great summer to do some inner child work. We have Chiron. The only place where Aries shows up, which is the most aggressive sign of the zodiac, is in healing the child or healing creative blocks. So it's also a great summer for going deep. And if there's something creative you've always wanted to do, but you've been blocked, this is a fantastic summer to get unblocked. Techniques to do that from the comfort of your home, EFT with Brad Yates. I'll be posting links to him in my column so that people can readily check him out. You can check out EMDR with a licensed therapist, and there are even EMDR that they have, which is eye movement desensitization, reprogramming over the internet. So this is a summer that is calling us to go deep and transform, but in alignment with what our souls feel called to, which is so beautiful. Venus is still retrograde in the summer solstice chart. Venus is going to station direct on the 25th at 5 degrees Gemini, but in this chart, she's retrograde, and for the next few weeks, will still be in the shadow of her retrograde. So it's a time to rethink partnerships, possibly reconnect with partners in a new way. Communication needs to change within partnerships. I highly recommend people picking up the book Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, especially with family members and partnerships. You know, there have been reports that in some families there's been like a big uptick in discord and even some violence, and in other families there's just been a much more deepening of intimacy, closeness, and the like. But regardless of which way it's gone in your family, it can only benefit from learning these beautiful, emotionally literate techniques of communicating. Cancer is the sign of feelings. So when the sun moves into feelings, we are called to enter the realm of our feelings. And think about it for a moment. I guess I was going to be redundant and say every feeling we have comes from a feeling, but every feeling we have is an ambassador from our soul that informs us of a need. You know, our feelings are, and there are no right or wrong feelings. Whatever you're feeling is for a reason. It's that a need is either being met or a need is not being met. So if you're angry, it may be that your need for a boundary, for respect, for something that you love might have felt violated. All of those are needs. If you're feeling happy, content, gratified, if you're purring like a cat, some other need has been met. So this is a really beautiful summer to ask yourself regularly, each of us to ask, how am I feeling? What do I need? Also, Cancer is literally the sign of food and feeding and gestation. And with a Scorpio rising chart, we are called in once again to the cocoon of transformation and the cocoon of birth and rebirth. So ask yourself, heading in on Saturday to this summer season, if this is a season of transformation and rebirth, what are you gestating? What do you want to give birth to over the next 3 months? Is there a book you want to write? Is there a personal transformation in your habits, in your relationship maybe to your body or to your mind? I myself, through the whole COVID thing, have been working out every day and meditating every day, trying to both have a different relationship to my body and train my mind to be more disciplined, because my own mind can be like ricochet rabbit going here, there, and everywhere, and the meditation just calms it down. Is there a project that you want to give birth to? All of this, give it fruitful contemplation as you invite the light into your home, your body, your mind, your spirit, your love life, your family, but especially home and family, because Cancer so specifically rules the home, the mother, the family. So that happens on Saturday. We enter summer. And then Sunday, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Cancer. So again, an eclipse is always about the shadow. And in a solar eclipse, there is the shadow of the earth sort of blots out the sun and creates a shadow. So that is the shadow of the sun is sort of what we are dealing with. So any eclipse brings up shadow issues, but a new moon also, it's sort of like a beginning, an amplified new beginning, so to speak. So just to go over it, it will be on the 21st, which is Sunday, and it will happen exactly at 2:41 a.m. So on every new moon call, we talk about what is the new moon, why do we take note of the new moon, and what does the new moon offer us? So these other two events are sort of getting the planets positioned for what is about to happen on Sunday. First, Mercury shifts position and says, this is not going to be a forward-moving summer. We are now moving backward. We are recovering. We are reflecting. We are rethinking, revising, revamping. Anything starting with a we're doing that recharging. Then we have the sun saying, welcome to summer, welcome to the cocoon of transformation. This is a Scorpio rising season where we're doing deep work and more shadows will be revealed, national, personal, collective, and global. And then the new moon happens on Sunday, inviting us into this beautiful new growing cycle. So every 2 weeks of any given month, when Luna goes from crescent to full, is the fertile time of new beginnings. So this will be the first new moon of summer, and it will be the most potent new moon and eclipse that we've got this year because it is taking place at the 0 point of Cancer. Now, the 0 degrees of the cardinal signs are the most potent degrees in the entire zodiac, because the zodiac begins at the 0 degree of Aries. So the 0 degree of Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn, the 4 cardinal directions, those are the most powerful and the most charged degrees of the zodiac. The fact that we have a new moon solar eclipse at a 0 point means that this will be a very potent and will have far-reaching ramifications for home, family, feelings, ancestry, and country. So now when we look, and then on any new moon, we write our intentions because we want to take advantage, and especially a potent new moon. So I highly recommend, because we're already in the shadow of the new moon eclipse, they say like 3 days before, 3 days after. First of all, make no major decisions. Let the eclipse energy calm down. But this is a beautiful time to be prayerful, intentional, focused on what you want. Like, this is a really important time to be disciplining your mind and your feelings to focus on the effects that you want. And a beautiful thing that we could all be doing for the next, like from this very moment, is to be focusing on global peace, on beautiful harmony, on security for everyone, on envisioning a world where all children, all women, all men, all old people are secure. You know, just imagining and holding that beautiful thought. And then we're going to go a little over tonight because there's so much to cover. So we might go to like 15 minutes after the hour. Let's see how it goes. But what we do on every new moon call is talk about the power of intention, because one thing to do beginning, you know, any time on Sunday morning, the new moon actually occurs at 2:41 a.m. and it's a good time to write intentions. Any time after that, all day Sunday and all day Monday, the 22nd, is a perfect window for intention writing. I would get your intentions in by close of day on Monday, you know, but you could write them on Sunday, anytime after 2:41 in the morning. So the reason that and first of all, just a moment about intention. Intention is the rudder of your ship. If you have a ship and no one is at the steering wheel or holding the rudder, you are literally adrift. Intention is the way that we steer the boat of our lives, by intending. Where are we going? What are we doing? What do we intend to create, become, accomplish, advance, and so forth? And the perfect time to plant the seeds of our powerful, regal intention, using our will in a way that is productive and creative, is at the new moon. And for the next 2 weeks until the full moon, which will be on July 5th, that will be straddling like the 4th and 5th. It happens like a little after midnight on the 5th. That whole period is a time of increased fertility, and especially in an eclipse new moon and an eclipse full moon. So you really want to be as intentional as possible for the next 2 weeks. So I highly recommend writing out 10 intentions, beginning with the phrase, I easily see myself, or I easily find myself, and then predicating those intentions with things that are beautifully aligned for this gorgeous Cancerian time. Even though it's a challenging time, an eclipse gives you a huge amount of added new beginnings. So what is the eclipse chart cast for Washington asking of us? Many things, and just to backtrack a second, I say this absolutely every new moon teleseminar, but the first intention that I always write, and especially coming out of the COVID pandemic, is I easily find myself in excellent health. And I have enjoyed pretty good health over the years, but that is always my first intention. The way intentions work is we use the masculine, the rational side of our brain, to select the seed that we will plant in this fertile soil. Once we do that, the feminine side of the brain that rules automatic functions, subconscious magical connections, will send her tendrils out and begin helping us manifest and grow that seed. We don't have to watch a seed, like we don't have to watch a baby in the womb. The feminine part of our consciousness knows just what to do. And then one day from the soil, you see that little green shoot coming up, and then there's a gorgeous rose or tulip or what have you. So 10 intentions are a really good number. And beginning with the positive phrase, I easily see myself, or I easily find myself. Now, what are some beautiful things on this gorgeous eclipse new moon that you might want to easily find yourself doing? What's interesting is, like, the Scorpio chart is the summer chart, but the new moon chart is the opposite, Taurus. So this first new moon is asking us to build, to be productive, to be constructive. And we have Uranus, the planet of absolute awakening and activism and shake-up and change and transformation right on the rising point of this chart. So we can make some big changes in our lives, and to areas of our life that have been heretofore intractable. So if there's an area of your life you've struggled, whether it's a creative block or a relationship to your body or a particular habit that you haven't been able to shake, I easily find myself changing, transforming, adopting whatever the new behavior is, would be a really good thing. Also, what do you want to build in this next 2-week period? And also money. Taurus is the sign, one of the signs of money. I easily find myself monetizing my, fill in the blank, or marketing, if it's a product or a house or something you've built. I mean, this is a beautiful new moon to market, to advance financial plans. I easily find my self-esteem growing and in leaps and bounds. Then we have the sun and the new moon are in the sector of the mind, both in beautiful Cancer, because on any new moon you have the sun and the new moon in exactly the same sign at exactly the same degree. So they're both at the 0 point of Cancer, and this is a time to easily find ourselves thinking soulfully and in the most nurturing way, in an entirely new way. I would say a beautiful intention would be, I easily find myself speaking to myself and others in a soulful, kind, and nurturing way. If we spoke to ourselves regularly in just an incredibly loving, maternal way, honestly, the world would be transformed within a week. I fully do believe that. We also have Mercury retrograde in that same sector. So if there's a writing project, a website, a screenplay, an area of study that you want to return to or reconnect with, I easily find myself reconnecting with my book, my novel, my screenplay, my website, or monetizing my website, or fill in the blank. Then in the new moon chart, we also have that same spiritual direction that is in the summer solstice chart, because of course they're only 2 days apart, so the planets are in the same signs. I mean, none of them will change signs except for the moon, but they're in different houses. So that spiritual Neptune and Mars is literally in the inner ashram of this chart. And we're really being called for the next 2 weeks to work on our dreams, our visions, our devotional practice. I mean, this is a summer to really pray, meditate, bless, and dream up gorgeous new conditions, realities, creative projects. But steering with spiritual navigation is definitely the way to go. Now, what might be coming up are ancestral patterns of thought that it is time to let go of. And think about it. I mean, most of our habits, for good or for ill, come from our family, from our ancestry. So this is a time to ask yourself, when you're writing your intentions, and don't write them until, of course, Sunday. We're doing this ahead of time, but we're on the dark side of the moon today as we do this. We want to make use of the by the time you wake up on Sunday morning, unless you're waking up at 2:41 in the morning, then you can write your intentions. But ask yourself, what patterns of thought or communication did your family have that it's time to let go of? Was there scarcity thinking? Was there too much criticism? Was there fear? Were there survival behaviors? And no blame to anyone's ancestors. This is actually a summer of healing our ancestry. I personally plan to be sending blessings to my mother, my father, my grandparents, and the hundreds of people I never met in my life who all contributed to my appearance here on Earth. I invite you to do that as well. But it's a beautiful time to awaken from trauma. You know, we're coming out of a lot of trauma, even COVID traumatized people, and do whatever healing that so you can take back your power, your peace, your emotional security, your dignity, and even to breathe back your power from these ancestral patterns by, you know, blessing the ancestors. I mean, our ancestors survived some very intense things. My father was a World War II vet. I don't think I would have lasted 2 minutes under those conditions. And, you know, the marks of it were on him. So, you know, I will be breathing back, you know, some combat PTSD behavior that was in my family and, you know, sending nothing but love and blessings to my beloved father. But, you know, we can let go of some of those things that no longer serve us because we're also marching into the Aquarian age. And that's the other thing. As we're going to wrap up in a few minutes and do our guided meditation, but the new moon is in a healing pattern, the sun and the new moon, to Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn in Aquarius is also moving backward. We're being called back to this idea of liberty, fraternity, sorority, equality for all. And part of what we're trying to be liberated from is history. You know, there's a lot of talk about American history right now, but American history is also the history of each of our families. And global history is the history of each of our families, each of our ancestors. What did they struggle with? What did they grapple with? And can we awaken from some of the history and put the baggage of it aside, put the trauma of it aside, and step into a new liberty? And, you know, liberty and justice for all. And if we can be free from the places where we've been bound, that's, you know, one increment at a time will create a liberated world. So it's a fantastic summer and new moon for that. Also, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are in the career sector of the chart. So I easily find myself revising, restructuring, rethinking my career, marketing my career in a new way. There could be some massive changes on the career front for everyone, and they could be extremely positive with Jupiter in the mix. So think about what would that look like and write intentions for that. Venus is in the first house of the chart, retrograde, calling us to be loving, calling us to be communicating in the most beautiful way we can, and keeping in mind that an eclipse and the solstice chart both bring up the shadow, which is the unconscious. This is a call for every spiritual person who can maintain their highest vibration, who can invite light into the dark places, into the painful places, into the wounds. Those of us who can do this work, you know, and imperfectly, we all get thrown, as I said earlier, but it's a really good summer to set an intention to remain connected to divinity, to the higher mind, to the highest self, to your devotional practice, so we can together, as the unconscious reveals itself, we will bring the light. We will gestate the light. We will give birth to beautiful, soulful, new conditions with security and safety and justice for all. So that is the new moon chart, and I thought what would be beautiful now, running a little bit, you know, we're at 2 minutes to 8 o'clock, but let's take the next 10 to just do this beautiful guided meditation. And I just want to recap by saying, tomorrow Mercury retrogrades, pull inward, reflect, journal. Then we have the air conditioning just kicked on in here, which is fine. We go with the flow wherever we are, and everything is imperfectly perfect. So then Saturday, we have the portal of summer opening, and at that moment, we want to invite the light. And you could even just journal about what you intend to transform within yourself and your life and create this summer. And reflect on any deep inner transformational work you might want to be doing. And then on the new moon is a beautiful day to set those intentions and to commit to your own security, your own emotional security, I think a really beautiful intention, and then this will lead us into our meditation, is I easily find myself feeling deeply at home within myself, feeling deeply at home on planet Earth, feeling deeply at home within humanity, with my brothers and sisters on planet Earth. So, there's no place like home. And we're about to enter the sign of home. There's no place like home. And we are always home. So welcome home. Welcome home to the ground of your being. Welcome home to your soul. Welcome home to Mother Earth. Welcome home to the galaxy. Welcome home to creation. It's that beautiful line in the Desiderata says something to the effect of no less than the moon and the stars. You are a child of the universe and you have a right to be here. And every child has a right to be here. So may we transform and awaken in the summer of deep transformation, deep revelations, and may we, occupy the beautiful high ground and the beautiful soul ground so that together we can dream up this heavenly world that it is our birthright to be living in. So on that note, let's now do our beautiful guided meditation and allow yourself, and we're going to connect with our optimal future self that feels deeply at home within themselves, that feels deeply emotionally secure, that feels at peace emotionally. Because so many of us, struggle with that feels at peace and at home within the body, within the soul, within the home, wherever you are. So allow yourself, if you will, to just deeply relax for a moment. You don't have to be sitting up straight. Find a position that you can really just relax. Have a little back support. Allow yourself to melt into the available support right now. And notice how beautiful Mother Earth is perfectly supporting you. Whatever you are sitting on, that is your mother holding you. Whatever you're wearing, that's your mother clothing you. And whatever you've eaten today, that's your mother feeding you. We're entering the realm of the universal mother, and she doesn't really let us down. She's always with us. So feel yourself, however old you are, allow yourself to feel like a child in your mother's arms, to feel beautifully supported by our gracious, gorgeous, massive Mother Earth. And just feel yourself smile at how much available support there is for you right now, and how much there always is. You're always supported. And let your muscles relax, let your jaw unhinge, and just allow yourself to enjoy breathing for a moment. Allow yourself to feel the luxury of the velvety breath moving into your body, into your lungs, feeding your whole body with prana, with spirit. And follow your next breath all the way down to the bottom, where you'll find this deep place of peace, a still point. And that still point will induct your whole body into stillness. And it's always there when you need stillness. Just follow your breath to the bottom. And as your body is relaxing, we're going to ask all the cells of our bodies throughout everyone on this call to begin vibrating at a beautiful level of peace and bliss and security and well-being. And for those beautiful feelings of well-being to increase as this call continues, so that you feel more and more at peace, more and more at home, more relaxed. And as your body and the cells of your body are just enjoying this beautiful peace and being nurtured, imagine that another part of you is floating and drifting along on a beautiful silvery current of air. And this current of air has the quality of perfectly supporting you and nurturing you in whatever way you most need right now. This is maternal, silvery, lunar light, and it knows just what you need. If you need to be invigorated, if you need stability, if you need soothing, this beautiful light is nurturing this part of you that's floating and drifting along. And as you're floating and drifting, imagine that you are going, because we are, to connect with your optimal future self, who has achieved this beautiful level of emotional stability, security, at-homeness, who has created a beautiful home and family life for yourself, or resolved a particular ancestral issue that you would love healing with. So as you're floating and drifting, notice whatever issue comes to the front of your mind this time that you would like healing help with, that has to do with home or emotional security or a family pattern that you would love to be at the other side of, that you would love resolved. And you'll have this recording after the call, so you can do this many times. Just notice what comes to the front of your mind this time, and trust that your subconscious knows what to tackle right now. And as you're floating and drifting, feel a pleasant anticipation of connecting with an optimal future you that has resolved this issue, that is emotionally secure, that feels emotionally stable, that feels good in your body, calm, peaceful, has a good relationship to the whole realm of the body, so that you feel at home wherever you are. If you've had any soul disturbance, if your soul has been disquieted, feel pleasant anticipation to connect with a part of you in the future whose soul is at peace and feels good and feels stable and secure and at home. And as you're floating and drifting, notice that down below a beautiful path appears by a body of water. Could be a gentle brook, could be a sleepy ocean. This is your inner world, so notice how this path appears for you. And on this path there are beautiful silvery footprints. These are the footprints of your optimal future self, the part of you that has resolved whatever issue you brought with you. And on this beautiful path, it's twilight, there's a crescent moon in the sky, and these beautiful silvery footprints are beckoning and glowing. So if it's all right with you, allow yourself to descend and alight right in front of these footprints. And just notice for a moment that these are in fact the footprints of your future self that resolved whatever issue you brought with you. So bring to mind again whatever issue you want healing with. And if it's okay with you, allow yourself to step right in these footprints with your present day feet and feel this beautiful silvery nurturing light begin to move up through the soles of your feet, already healing you, and the soles of your feet connect to every other point in your body. And if it's okay, take another step forward, saying yes to healing, yes to emotional security, yes to a new deep inner sense of safety, well-being, feeling at home within yourself, feeling secure within yourself. And this beautiful light moving up through your ankles, nourishing every cell of your body as it goes. This is mother energy. It knows just what your body needs and just what to clean out. This energy moving up through your calves, maybe feeling impelled to take a few steps forward at whatever pace feels good for you. Now this energy in your knees, massaging, healing your joints, up into your thighs, the biggest muscles in your body, impelling you forward on this path to your healing, to your fulfillment, up through your whole pelvic floor, massaging and healing as it goes, up through your belly, and through your intestines so that you can digest and stomach a whole new level of security, of peace, of joy, of well-being, of feeling nurtured and at home within yourself and anywhere else you go. And this beautiful energy, especially massaging the whole belly, the umbilical cord, filling your whole umbilical cord energy with this universal mother energy so that you feel supported and mothered and cocooned and nurtured at all times. You know, it is your birthright to feel nurtured. You came here to grow and develop and contribute, and this beautiful energy helping you with all of that so you can give your unique, unrepeatable gifts to the waiting world. This beautiful energy moving up, blessing your hands, your arms, your lungs, and clearing out any old grief that might be stuck in your lungs, helping you. You have a right to breathe deeply. You have a right to be here. You can breathe deep. You can take up space. You know, this is your planet too. And then this beautiful energy moving into your heart, cocooning and massaging and filling your heart with this maternal, loving, nurturing energy so that you can give and receive love freely. But for tonight, just receive the love that is pouring into your heart from Grandmother Moon, from Luna. And this beautiful energy in your throat, in your whole throat chakra, helping you speak and receive energy so that you'll know what to say and when to say it, and you'll speak more lovingly to yourself and to others. And then this energy in your whole head cavity, blessing your eyes so that you see in a more nurturing way. You see yourself in a more loving way. You hear things in a more nurturing and loving way. You speak in a more nurturing, loving way. This whole energy is about nurturing and self-care and care of others, but first care of self. We cannot pour from an empty cup. So tonight we're filling that beautiful cup, and Grandmother Moon is more than happy to fill us with universal mother energy, and we can just receive for tonight. So now, completely enveloped in this beautiful silvery nurturing light, allow yourself to move forward on this path and notice that from somewhere up ahead there's a beautiful line of white, pure white light, a ribbon of light right about heart level coming toward you from up ahead. This is a ribbon of energy and light from the heart of your future self, who has healed and resolved whatever issue you brought with you tonight. This is the energy that knows how to feel more secure, the future you who feels deeply at peace within themselves, who is gestating and creating and incubating creative projects that you were born to create, or conditions that you were born to create. So allow this beautiful ribbon of light to gently enter your heart and begin filling you with this consciousness of how your optimal future self feels and creates and is. It's a state of being, this beautiful, healed, new state of being. And feel this ribbon of light begin to gently pull you forward, because it is not the past pushing us, it is the future calling us into the manifestation of the flower we came here to be. So let this ribbon of light begin to gently pull you forward, and notice that from somewhere up ahead on the path, coming out of a gorgeous corona of silvery blue light, there is a beautiful human being walking toward you that looks quite a bit like you, but maybe transformed in some ways, because this is your optimal future self, who is here tonight on this path to guide you into a whole new, healthy, beautiful manifestation, into new conditions, into a new state of mind, body, or spirit. So just notice your optimal future self walking toward you as you also close the gap to greet this beautiful version of you until you are standing eye to eye, toe to toe, and greet your optimal, healed future self with love in your heart. And notice what their primary energy is for you. Are they here to lift you up? Are they here to give you strength? Notice what their overall quality is. And if it's all right with you, allow yourself to step right into the body of your future self, or allow them to step right into your present day body. And just see what it's like to be merged with this version of you, this optimal future you that is more secure, more grounded, more at home, more at peace, more emotionally in a state of deep well-being, more emotionally secure. And just take that in, taking a few steps forward while merged together. Notice in particular the gut level of the optimal future self. Cancer, the sign that we're moving into, is really the gut, the most intelligent gut level of the zodiac. So notice what your optimal future self feels like at that level. And then notice how it feels just to be walking, merged with this version of you. What feels different? How is your posture as you're walking? What does your gait feel like as you're walking? Do you feel more at ease? Do you feel more of a sense of purpose? What is the overall quality, the new improvement, the health, the well-being, the security? How does it convey itself to you? And if a miracle were to occur and you were to become this optimal future you who has stepped into this whole new way of feeling, of being, of nurturing the self, of loving the self, of creating a beautiful way, a home life, what would have changed in you? And how would you know that these changes had occurred? So ask your future self to remain merged with you so that they can guide you into these new states of being, into whatever practices or people or substances or even nutritional so foods that might help. Cancer rules literally our food, so that you're guided to whatever it is that you need to become this future you that is living in a greater state of ease, grace, well-being, and all good things. So it's almost time to come back now, to reorient to the present, but we'll ask our optimal future selves to begin integrating with us so that they will guide us through this summer, through this beautiful lunation, into these beautiful states of deepening security and well-being, so that we can incubate our dreams and these beautiful new states and come out of this summer more empowered, more at peace, more at home within ourselves and in the world at large. So for now, thank yourself for going on this journey. Allow yourself to become aware of wherever you are again. Allow the images to fade. Be back into your present day self. Be ready to engage in whatever activity you would like to engage in tonight. Tonight, when I'm doing this, is Wednesday. I don't know when you'll be listening to this call, but welcome back from the meditation. And remember that all day Sunday from 2, I don't know that anybody will be up at 2:41 a.m., but any time after 2:41 a.m. is a great time to write your intentions, or all day Monday, June 22nd. So I wish you all the most blessed and beautiful summer of deep healing, of transformation. As we each transform, our world transforms. So may we have a beautiful, soulful summer, and hope you'll join us again next month. And we're coming here in New York out of the quarantine, so maybe soon you will join us at the beautiful Instituto Xilonen and can be with these beautiful, amplifying, elevating crystals. But till then, our blessings are with you. May peace be with you. May divine love be with you. And may this be a summer where you manifest your dreams. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great night.